Hello everybody, welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. I'm Jason. This is my fuzzy co-star Freya. And we're bringing you today's video. Thank you, baby. And today we're talking about book 4 in a series that we've been talking about a lot lately that I discovered. Probably my number 3 favorite lit RPG series. Just awesome series. And I'm talking about Tom Elliot and his book, The Grand Game 4. As always, guys, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We appreciate any support for our small little family channel. And if you'd like to talk about books or want to suggest some books to me, email me or hit us up on the Discord channel. I've got the link down below, along with the link to the book that I'm talking about today. So The Grand Game 4. This one just came out very recently. And awesome, guys. Awesome. Just absolutely incredible. As usual, I'm not going to talk about the 4 normal categories because I talked about that in book 1. I'm just going to talk about the book without giving away spoilers if I can. So, we've got Michael, and he is still in the Nexus, which is kind of cool because the first 2 books, book 1 was in the dungeon, book 2 was in the hidden sector, book 3 was in the Nexus. So I had this weird feeling, I don't know why, that book 3 would be the Nexus, and then he'd move on to something different. And it looks like I was wrong, which kind of makes sense since the Nexus is exactly what it sounds like, a Nexus. It's Sector 1, so it connects to everything. So, or it's kind of like the central hub. So it kind of makes sense that this area is going to be kind of a major thing and a major player within the series. So Michael is still in the Nexus, only now things are heating up. He's still got these assassins after him. You can't figure it out, but he's starting to get some suspicions. So he's trying to come up with some ways to manage his way out, or at least figure out how. Now, part of his problem is that he's got all these goals he has to do, including finding that representative of Wolf that is somewhere within the Nexus, somewhere hidden. He's gotten some hints, he's gotten some ideas, but being able to access it and go hunt for this guy is a little bit different. So he's trying to gain the power, trying to gain the levels, the power, more about what's going on. Up to this point, while he's made a few friends, unfortunately, thanks to swearing to some of the powers, some of the other powers, stuff like that, even his friends, he's not quite sure are actually friends. They could be enemies now, because he is so diehard about remaining independent. Even though he's kind of swearing himself to House Wolf, in a lot of ways you kind of get the sense that if he succeeds, he will be House Wolf. So he's not really swearing any particular allegiance yet, except towards the thing that kind of calls to him that he's doing anyway. So he's just kind of swearing to himself in a way. So he's got all these enemies. Every time he manages to get himself out of a situation, he does it by having to lie and manipulate and kind of not cheat, but only follow the letter instead of the spirit of agreements, stuff like that, or break agreements. So while he manages to maintain his independence, he keeps making more and more enemies. He really does, and he's trying to figure out his way around it. And he takes things with a grain of salt. When you learn more about the void and the void creatures and void diving, he learned that because he kind of got manipulated, but it was by a group that he had manipulated in the past, so he kind of, had that coming. He kind of accepted, he kind of took it. He has made a few allies here and there, generally amongst businesses. He's managed to make a couple of allies there, because they also tend to remain a little bit more neutral to this grand political game that goes on with the forces and the powers. So you start to get the sense, you start to realize that the name of the series, The Grand Game, it's not just a reference to the lit RPG aspect and the fact that everybody is, all the people that actually have any effect on anything are players. You also start to get the sense that this game is also referring to the politics that's going on. The politics and the politics within allied forces. You've got your forces, you've got your power, your 3 major forces. You've got your powers, and players aligned to powers aligned to forces, players aligned to forces, but they have to align to a power within that force. But then even within the forces, those forces can battle each other, can kill each other, can betray each other, can work against each other, can work with other other powers, within other forces, because as they have explained in some of the other books, light does not equal good, dark does not equal evil, shadow does not equal neutral. It's a little bit more nuanced than that. The light can be evil. There could be powers under light that are very, very evil. There could be powers under dark that might work, that could be very honorable and might work towards good. And then shadow is just its own thing. Shadow comes across much more selfish than anything else. And Michael's trying to figure out how to get around all of this stuff. He goes into another dungeon. He's got this plan. So he goes into another dungeon, and things don't quite work out to plan. Shocking, I know. And he finds himself stuck in this dungeon for a very long time. When he finally figures out how to get out of that particular part of the dungeon, it's pretty damn funny, actually. But finds himself stuck in this dungeon for a long time. And while he's in there, he ends up making changes almost to the dungeon. He builds a wolf pack within the dungeon, a wolf pack that grows and thrives thanks to him and only him, really, which changes the power dynamic within this level of the dungeon. He also finds some hidden things from within this dungeon that could very well lead to an eventual power base for Michael. That's what I think this particular thing is setting up for. His own particular base of operations, basically. He's kind of in this dungeon, oddly enough, in the dungeon, or from the dungeon to an area that would be very, very private and hidden from everybody else, where he could really build his power base. And in this book, he builds a new pack. He finds his way back to that hidden sector that he was in before, which of course has its own set of issues and politics going on there. He makes a few more agreements, breaks a few more agreements, betrays a few more people, accomplishes the letter instead of the spirit of a couple more agreements, but does manage finally to finds out what's going on with his inn that he bought and helps there. So, helps with that particular ally, makes a couple more allies, returns to the direwolves, helps the direwolves, tries to merge the direwolves with his other pack. And basically this book was a lot of setup to what I think is going to be a fascinating book 5. But again, this book was no slouch either. This was pretty awesome. Hope I didn't give away any spoilers, and I hope I wasn't too vague. But guys, if you guys like RPG books, you have got to read this series. It is amazing as a lit RPG series. Thank you everybody for watching, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye now.